Hi, I'm Annalie Master. Welcome to my Common Sense Living podcast, where I'm going to add common sense and value to your life. Get a pen and paper. You're going to want to take some notes today because we have a special guest, Sonia Ferrell. Sonia is an international best-selling author, speaker, and transformational coach committed to guiding professionals who are experiencing burnout, depression, or lack of confidence to connect with their highest selves and their potential. After spending 18 years building a successful career in the engineering space, she left to pursue her passion in personal development, leadership, coaching, and facilitating. The journey wasn't always easy, and setbacks forced her to slow down. But over time, she understood that her own journey of unexpected challenges and experiences was the inspiration and drive towards her destination. In 2012, she wrote a research thesis for women in leadership positions. Her second writing, Step Into Your Brilliance, became a #1 international best-selling book, a guide on how to start developing a brilliant relationship with self, creating awareness of self-emotions, and a self-loving relationship. Her work empowers her clients to experience more ease, balance, and a sense of renewal with positive, profound, and lasting change. So let's find out how she's going to help us. Sonia, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here in your space, Leanne, because what you radiate is just amazing energy. I love what you stand for. I love what you are creating. You're such a role model for women.
Oh, thank you, sweetie. So elaborate on just how you're going to help me when I sign up.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about my journey and how this all started for me, so that you can understand how the help comes in. So when I was working in the corporate world in engineering, I struggled with different things in identity, insecurity, but I was not showing that. I was just, being this powerful woman working, being resourceful. On the outside, I looked like I had confidence and everything, right? But inside, there were a lot of things going on. And with that and the multiple responsibilities, becoming a new mom, managing 2 departments, not knowing how to handle stress is what showed up for me. So I, like many women, thought, if I'm feeling headaches, I take a pill. If I'm feeling tension in my neck or my shoulders, I'll go get a massage. So what did I do? I was feeling that because I had a lot going on. I was getting ready to go on vacation. I go see a chiropractor, and the chiropractic neck manipulation ended up causing a stroke.
Oh my.
So my big lesson here was that looking for ways to heal stress externally is not the solution. The solution is really going within. And going within is not easy because I was always busy doing things. And if I had free time, I would find more things to do or more things to take care of or people to help. And what this really was is I was getting myself busy so I wouldn't connect with myself. And I don't know if you want to call this ego. But when I had the stroke, I was forced to stay in acute rehab for almost a month.
Wow. So
that was a way of the universe telling me to slow down. And I had received that message prior. I remember a family member, a very loved family member, telling me, darling, you need to slow down and smell the roses. And I was not even aware of that. I'm like, well, if I'm walking, that's self-care, right? If I'm going to the spa, that's self-care. But no, self-care is more than that.
Yeah, it goes deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then what I help people is really learn to slow down so that they can listen to their body, so that they can pay attention to what our body is telling us, because my body was telling me, take care of yourself. It was giving me the headaches. It was giving me the neck pain, the tension. And I was very good at ignoring that.
Wow. I know we're like women 20 years ago, even we're in the man's world, especially as an engineer. And that in itself is stressful. And then everything that we put on our plates and our family life and what we think we're supposed to do. And then God gives us these little messages, and we just, like you say, take the aspirin or, whatever, or have a drink of wine and maybe a second drink. All the
Or
external things.
yeah, or play your way in to fit in, right? Because
Yes.
you're in this energy, male domination energy. There's a lot of different way of communication, and you're figuring out, okay, I gotta fit in, even though that was not me, that was not who I was.
Yeah. Wow. So tell me about this book that you wrote.
So that book really talks about that journey of how it was hard for me even after the stroke. I knew my lesson was really to slow down, to connect with myself, but that was not enough to teach me to connect with myself, because my body had learned and had this pattern so ingrained about being busy that it was so easy to go back to being busy again. So this book talks about, it's an anthology, so it's 14 different stories, 14 authors, and it talks, my chapter specifically talks about how do we start building a relationship with ourselves. And it really means slowing down so we can hear ourselves, slowing down so that we can connect with ourselves, so that we can start building that relationship with ourselves, so that we can start building that self-love. There's people that have asked me, what is self-love? And it may mean different to other individuals. And I'm not going to say I'm the expert, but for me, self-love means when I am connecting to myself, my body, my spirit, my higher self, away from the mind, away from those thoughts that say I'm not good enough.
And it's a journey in itself. I've struggled with lack of self-worth, and like most of us women have. And I was overjoyed one time when I was talking to my sister, and she was talking about something that, over and over and over again scenario, and it's another case of it. And I had a deadline of my own schedule. I said, I can talk to you for 15 more minutes because I was writing my book, and I said, I've got to get this done. And I felt bad that I had to cut her off, but I felt so good and so empowered. I put myself first for a change. It felt so good. And in a sense, that taught my sister that it's not all about her. There's somebody else in the picture. And, does she ask, is now a good time? No, it's because it's all about her.
Yeah.
So anyway, I even put it on Facebook. I said, wow, I did something I've never done before. I put myself first. I actually told somebody I don't have time because I need the time for me. I didn't say who it was, but, but I can't believe how I was just so overjoyed about that, because it was my first step.
So beautiful. And that's what my journey has been as well. And I don't call myself an expert, because I feel like there's still more to learn. I'm still in this journey, and I feel that life is not like a destination where I'm going to arrive, but it's this journey, right? And life is never going to be linear. It's going to be ups and downs. It's just learning how to navigate those things with more ease. But I love what you shared about being able to express your needs. And at that time, you needed to focus on your work. And a lot of times we allow all those interruptions in our life. We don't express what we really need in the moment.
Right.
We don't create boundaries, and then we make it mean, oh, I'm being selfish. This is not good. Right?
Right. Right. Put us as being the negative when it's really that we need to be the priority. Because if I'm all stressed out, how can I help anybody else?
Exactly. Just like when they say in the plane, right? If that mask comes down, put it on yourself first before you put it on others or kids.
Right.
It's the same thing, and selfish. I mean, it's got its pros and cons, right? Don't overdo it either,
Right.
right? But there's a balance where being selfish is not bad. This is what I'm needing right now. And it's okay to express my needs. It's okay to ask for support. That was another thing that
Mhm.
I became this independent woman that felt that I could do everything without asking for help, or that I didn't need to ask for help, and that if I asked for help, I was bothering people. But I'm now in, they call it what one mentor calls it receptivity, right? Being able to give, being able to receive, being able to ask for support.
So where did we learn to not put ourselves first? Is this generational or just, our family, or, it's an interesting thought. I find it an interesting thought.
It is very interesting because some people say, a lot of times it could be something that you carry from, ancestral patterns. It could be beliefs from experiences. And I think that's an easier way for me to explain it, right? It's when it's like a computer, you're building this program for the computer to do something. And every time you hit enter, it's gonna react a certain way and do what it's supposed to do. So as a child, if I have an experience of fear, if I have an experience of somebody telling me things that make me feel like, oh, I must not be a good kid, I must not be good enough. Oh, they're telling me again that my grades are bad, so I'm not good. So we make meaning, I'm not good enough. So then later on in life, that gets programmed in our brain like it like a little computer. So later on in life, when someone makes a comment or when we take things personal, we're already making meaning from that old experience that was programmed in your brain, and we're having the same feeling that we're bringing back to the now, and it's like, oh, that I must not be good enough.
Yeah. And we're all wearing that, even men. And then we get married. We've got our baggage, they've got their baggage, and now we put it together, and ugh. But I remember as a child, I was always friendly to everybody. Nowadays, you'd be afraid, what would happen to me. But I talked all the time. And Dad would say, be quiet. Kids are to be seen and not heard. So I learned to bury my voice. And yet inside, I wanted to be a weather announcer. I wanted to be on TV. I wanted to be a radio host, whatever. But I suppressed it. And I take I'm an outgoing person, but if I'm in a group of people, I kind of step back. But there's a need for me to come forward, I will. So I got this opportunity to start speaking, and I said yes. And it has opened doors for me. My voice can now be heard. I'm no longer a child. But believe me, I didn't go from being a kid to all of a sudden having this happen. I mean, there's like 60, 50 years in there, where this transformation of it. But that's where it's us women getting together and talking about our stories and how we felt, and know that we all have that in common and how we can work through it.
Yes, and it's definitely a journey, like you said. And there's a few very common beliefs that we women hold, and one is I'm not lovable. Another one is I'm not good enough, or I don't belong, or I'm wrong.
Or I'm here to serve others, not me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's because I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
So the way I help people is become aware of these beliefs and where these experiences come from, and to go through a process of discreating them. So it's a lot of working with the imaginal realm, which is the subconscious mind, into creating something beautiful, which is what you've created now. That's a huge example of how you went from, not speaking or creating what you wanted to do to now feeling, tell me how you feel now that you're able to
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I went from not being told not to, to speak, to starting a speaking career, launching my podcast, and writing my first book. And by the way, on the books, I so recommend for anybody to write their story as though they're going to publish a book. They may never publish it, but write it. Because in my doing, I wrote it in 2.5 months on my spiritual experiences. And so in doing that, I had reflection on things that happened in the past that came to play in my present and near present. And it was a healing thing, because I could understand somebody said this or that, and yet I reacted this way, and now I see it this way. And I so encourage people to write their story and then publish it if you feel like it. You can ghost write it. Nobody knows it's you. But yet your story's heard.
That's a good idea. And that's definitely something for me to start doing as well.
I thought, yeah, on you instead of workbooks. Like you had the Step into Your Brilliance. And let's see, that was your second one. What's that one about?
So that's one that I just shared. The first one was a thesis writing on Masters in Leadership, which was the first step for me to, I don't want to call it my healing journey, but in reality it was, because it was the first time that I allowed myself to look into myself, because I had never done that before. It was always about others and always about, and then looking into my shadows, that did not feel comfortable. Like, oh my God, I don't want to see the bad parts about me, but it's seeing that it's part of the healing process. So that the thesis was again on seeing a lot of women who were managers or managing departments, and especially in the health industry. A lot of women that participated in this research were in the health industry. They were managing or supervising departments, and they were experiencing a lot of stress and overwhelm. So with the thesis, we, because it was me and another colleague that performed this work for over a couple of months, and we taught them, different tools for them to connect with themselves, for them to slow down, for them to have time for themselves. So this thesis was really to support women out there to develop these capacities to deal with stress and overwhelm. But this was my surface work, I think, because this work was over 10 years ago. It's over a decade, and things have gotten just deeper and deeper the more I learned.
Yeah, and it's great. It's great that we keep learning.
Yes, and the last one was getting certified as a clear beliefs coach. That went so much deeper in the levels of healing the inner child, the listening to your body. I mean, so many different tools that came with that certification that now I just would want to offer it to others so that we can heal. We can start that healing journey, that awakening journey, because there is so much stress and anxiety and mental health issues today.
The movement has to be that we have to start slowing down and not keep on the grind, pedal faster, got to get more done. No, maybe if we slow down, we can do it all. Maybe better if we slow down and do it. How do I want to say this? If I do it in a hurry, I might make a mistake and scratch that out.
Yeah, I know what you mean exactly, because that's where I used to be, where, when you're running an adrenaline, it's you're making this hormone, this stress hormone, that's not good for you, that's not healthy for you, that doesn't allow you to focus completely. Now, when you work from a space of ease and connection, and you're still being productive, but you're coming from a space that it's expansive and beautiful, and you're right. It's hard to explain.
Yeah,
It's just like that beautiful gut feeling that
yeah.
in your entire
It's that
body.
inner knowing. And if you listen to that inner knowing, the thought, the solution to whatever you've been oh, why can't I think of this? You're sitting on the toilet thinking about whatever. And this brilliant thought comes to mind, but you don't have any paper. But that happens to me so much. I just, it's out there, whatever I want to do or what I'm thinking about, it comes as a thought. And I say those are messages from God or spirit, my higher power. And I'll chew on that. And I think, yeah, I kind of like that. Even if it's just in my garden, what should I plant there? And, you go through this process a bit and maybe you can't think. And then all of a sudden, oh, that's what I need. And life is so much more simple if you listen to that inner instead of pushing it aside because, what do you know? You're thinking it's you talking, but it's not you talking. It's your higher power whispering to you.
Yeah. And the other thing that I wanted to add is that I work with women that tell me I can't meditate. I have this busy monkey mind. And I was there too. That's how I started. The mind was, all these thoughts kept coming up or these things that I needed to do. So I just want to share this, that it's okay. Just keep doing it and keep practicing. And if something comes up or it's something that's urgent, write it down and go back to just meditating, sitting quiet, connecting with yourself. And it's not something that you can learn in a day or 2 days.
No. I can't seem to meditate either. Sit there. No, that doesn't cut it for me. So for me, my space is to go outside in my garden and just sit there. That's my thing every morning that I possibly can. If I'm not going for an early shift, I'll sit there and drink my coffee and I'll look at the plants or this or that or what I need to do next. But I feel so connected. Just take a deep breath and smell the flowers, literally smell the flowers. But I've always been a nature person and an animal person. So it comes easy for me to do it that way.
Yes. And I also like doing walks in nature.
Oh, yes. Yes.
But I love what you said, to watch be in your garden, to watch your flowers and to smell. So in order to do that, it takes slowing down, right? Because if you're in a hurry, you can't smell the roses.
Yeah. There goes coffee on the way to work, drinking it. Oh, darn, now I spilled. I've got this stain all over me. Oh my God, my day is ruined. Instead of going in saying, whoops, I spilled my coffee. Sorry, you guys have to look at it, but that's the way it is. Or have a change of clothes in the office.
So it is a skill to learn, and it could be done in different ways. We said, being out in the garden, going out to nature, going for a walk outside nature, listening to guided meditations or listening to calming music. I mean, there's so many different ways.
That makes me think about the song. I don't remember the title of it. Maybe this is the title, The Sound of Silence. I like that, the music to it and everything, but The Sound of Silence. Simon Garfunkel, I think that's who wrote it. But that was, how can sound be silence? I always thought that was interesting, but I understand now that I'm older.
Yeah, and a lot of times it may even feel uncomfortable to be in silence because we're so used to, the media and throwing all this stuff at us, the mind going and seeing things that it's really teaching us, all that stuff is really teaching us to keep active, and to keep disconnecting from ourselves.
And that's a very good point. Look at what's going on in the world today. We have this fear, and then we have that fear, and then this fear. And now I told my husband last night, oh my God, we're retired. And now it's all about the money. There's not going to be enough money for retirement. Your ends aren't going to be able to be met. So now we have that fear. And what does fear do? But just suppress us, scare us. We aren't in touch with source. So I don't listen to that. I hear what's going on. Well, we World War III? No, we're not going to have a World War III unless you, whoever thinks it, wants it. And then you're going to have World War III, but I'm not going to be in it, whether I'm already dead or you want to have World War III over here in your life, but it's not going to be in the life I live in. Because I refuse that. I refuse it because it brings your vibration down so low. And then people get sick. We get stressed so much because our vibration is put down. If we bring our vibration up, it's like taking a deep breath. Your chest rises and you just expand. And it's just awesome. But it didn't happen overnight to me. I listen to calming things, meditative kind of things. But I don't listen to the news. I just hear, oh yeah, here we go again, another scare tactic. And the bank, oh yeah, we're gonna all lose our money, whatever. And a friend of mine said to me one time, oh, I'm so worried about my money. My gosh, what am I gonna do with my money? What they're talking about, the banks are gonna crash and all that. And I said, if you have $100,000 in the bank and you lose 2/3 of it, you still have 30,000. What about the person that has $300 in the bank and they have $3? You're still better off than that other person. And I said, am I going to run out and buy Bitcoin or whatever the latest, greatest thing is? No. I joke and I say, no, I just hide it in the mattress. That's an old saying from grandparents and beyond.
Yeah.
But
yeah, going back to the technology, it's really sad how I've even seen it with adults, not just kids, where they are launching something and they go on Facebook and they're saying, oh, I'm not getting an engagement, but then they compare themselves to someone else. Well, so and so is getting more engagement, or so and so has more followers, or and what are we doing? We're bringing negative thoughts to our mind, and our mind can start working against us if we keep doing that, because now we're thinking, oh, we're not good enough. Oh, I need to be like so and so, and we disconnect with, why can't we just be happy with who we are? Why can't we just feel good and comfortable in our own skin, not having to add titles of, oh, I'm an engineer, or oh, I'm this, or oh, I'm an influencer, right?
Yeah. What's conditioning? How we were brought up, how society was, but it's changing. I'm a nurse. Okay, I'm an LVN. I'm just an LVN. Hey, I studied. Circumstances didn't allow me to go on for the RN, and I didn't really need to be an RN. I got my license when I was 45. And as an RN, you're writing more. I wanted hands-on with people. So I'm happy to be an LVN. So I'm no longer just an LVN. I'm a nurse. And I mean, you can have advanced practitioners and all that. So all these different, like you said, titles, but still we're carrying people with titles.
Yeah. And so what I wanted to say is that this is all possible, but it takes practice. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm inviting people to come and learn with me, because I'm still in this journey where sometimes I go back, but now I have the tools where I catch myself. Oh, what's the mind doing? Oh, what sensations am I feeling in my body? Well, that's the old belief. And there's just so many tools to become aware of. And I just want to tell people that they can start with just moving away from their mind and just start feeling and listening to their body, the sensations of their body. And once you get there, let's say, oh, I'm feeling stress and but a lot of times we're not even aware of the symptoms. But if you start paying attention to your body, then you will say, oh, I'm feeling some pressure in my chest now. And if you want to pay deeper attention, then ask yourself, what shape does this sensation have? Is it like oval? Is it triangular? Okay, I might feel like an oval shape on the top of my chest. And okay, now where is the energy concentrated? Is it in the middle? No, it's more towards my heart, the pressure. Okay, So if this sensation had a color, what color would it be? So ask yourself these questions, and the dimensions. Okay, what are the like dimensions? The height, the width, length. Does it go? Pay attention to the edges. Does it go outside of your body, or does it stay just inside? And then once you become aware of that, then ask, if I put this if I weigh it, how much would it weigh? How heavy is it? And as you become aware of that sensation, just by doing this little simple exercise, a lot of times it'll dissipate, because emotions will never go away until you truly feel them.
Yeah, wow, that's interesting. That's deep, but it's interesting, and it's hard to explain, I think. But I understand what you're saying, but I don't think I could say it as well as you did. But we all have to expand ourselves. And
Yes.
just what you shared, somebody might think, oh yeah, I'm going to say, oh, how big is it? Oh no, I'm having a heart attack. You could, for me, I talk with my inner voice, right? God. And when you're talking about the heart, I could feel, I even told the heart doctor, I could feel my heart go boom, boom, like that. He said, what? I said, yeah. And I feel the flutter, atrial fibrillation, right? And I said, So I do all my research stuff. And of course, magnesium. So I started taking magnesium. No more of this and no more flutter. And he looked at me like I was nuts. Well, no, I'm sorry. I don't need your drugs, doc. I fixed it with magnesium. So I'm not saying that for everybody, but for me, it worked for me. But
and
that
it took paying attention to what you were feeling.
Yes. Yeah. If I would have disregarded it, I could have had a heart attack, because I didn't go to the doctor until I'd have a heart attack. So anyway, I call that playing games with myself, because if we go to work, it's a different mode. But if we play games, it makes it more fun, doesn't it? So if I'm thinking, why am I feeling this or that? It's not that it's structured job. It's like, think out of the box, something like that. Or even like a dance step. You don't dance, bum, 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 bum. You take different steps. So there's different ways to get to where you need to go.
Yeah. And I'm here to support other people, especially women.
Yeah.
And I have a few free events that I hold throughout the year, and people can find out more about them in my Instagram handle, which is Coach Sonia Life. It's all one word, Coach Sonia Life. Sonia is spelled Sonia, because I know it has multiple ways of spelling it. Or on Facebook is where I be posting, and I will also have a link for you to share in your notes of this interview.
Yeah. So Coach Sonia Life on Instagram,
Yes.
you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to share that now?
I'm actually having a free event March 30th, and it's a 75 to 90-minute training or course. It's a free online event called Activating Your Brilliance. So you will learn 3 keys to activate your brilliance. One, we'll talk a little bit about, okay, what are the patterns? Let's become aware. So the first step is awareness. Awareness of what's happening in your body, what's happening with your mind. And then we go into learning to feel that sensation, learning to accept what's going on. And then how do we go about dealing? So I'm going to be giving a few tools. It's going to be engaging so that people can practice when they're feeling stressed. They can practice things that they can do to calm themselves down and shift.
That sounds awesome. And being free, it lets you dabble into it. And then if it resonates with you, if you're ready to learn more, then you go on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely sharing a lot of free tools so that women can start practicing these.
Yeah, that's great. So let me see if there's something else we need to talk about. Talked about your first book and your second book and about the course that you're starting. So, okay. Do you have anything else you want to share?
If anyone has any questions, they can also reach out via Facebook or Instagram at Coach Sonia Life.
Okay, that sounds good. And all right, then. We'll let you go for this time and catch you another time, perhaps, eh?
It's been a pleasure being here with you.
My pleasure as well.
You
So
are a
thank you.
master.
And that's my last name, baby. Lee Master, the master. Okay, so thank you, Sonia, for sharing your insight on how we can feel better about ourselves. And I'd like to thank all of you for stopping into my Common Sense Living podcast today. And I hope you enjoyed it and learned something. So I ask that you leave a kind review if you would, and share this episode with a friend, and be sure to subscribe. And you'll find me where podcasts are. And next time, a former Navy SEAL will be my featured guest. So I can hardly wait. Toodaloo. Thank you for tuning in to my Common Sense Living podcast today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm sure you learned something new. Please leave a kind review and share this episode with a friend. And be sure to subscribe yourself. You'll find me on iTunes, Spotify, and other platforms. And don't forget, we'll be here again next week with another insightful episode of Common Sense Living. I can hardly wait.